Good morning, this is Deborah Matthews, Vicar of Verwood, with my thought for today. This morning we come to the end of one journey and reach the beginning of another. We have travelled together through the weeks of Lent. On Mothering Sunday we reflected on the comfort of a mother's love. And last week we waved our palms and worshipped Jesus as King, just as the crowds had hailed him as Messiah all those years ago. In Holy Week, we have listened again to the Bible readings, telling of Jesus' pain and courage and faith and obedience to God when he was betrayed and deserted and crucified. On the cross, we witnessed the breaking of hearts, and as his body is taken down and laid in the tomb, bruised and broken and dead. And then, very early on the third day, Mary Magdalene had come to the tomb where they had laid Jesus, wanting to wash him and care for the body of her beloved Lord and teacher, to tenderly anoint him and hold him one more time. But when she approached the place where Jesus had been laid, Mary saw that the tomb was open, and Mary knew that Jesus' body was no longer there. What a shock that must have been for her. Mary went immediately to tell Peter and the beloved disciple. Mary was distressed and afraid as she blurted out the news to them. They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him. There was no delay in response to Mary's words. Peter and the other disciple ran, each trying to get to the tomb first. Their hearts would have been beating faster and faster as they ran towards the tomb, not knowing what they expected to see, but maybe clinging hold of a glimmer of hope. The two disciples arrived separately at the tomb and saw the grave cloths discarded on the floor. They didn't have a conversation with each other. They didn't discuss what they thought had happened. The beloved disciples saw and believed, but we don't hear anything about what Peter thought, not at that time. And then they both went to their own homes. I think that we're all very different in the way we deal with shock. Some of us rush in and others stand back. Some of us like to discuss everything, and others like to quietly reflect and ponder upon what we have seen or heard before we can take in its meaning and understand what we believe. Mary Magdalene was left alone at the tomb. She bent down and looked in, sobbing in her grief. Through her tears, she sees angels where Jesus had been laid, and they ask her why she is weeping. After responding to them, Mary turns and sees someone standing there. That person asks her, "Woman, why are you weeping? For whom are you looking?" Mary doesn't see Jesus. She sees the gardener, the person she expects to see. When I was young, I used to think it was strange that Mary didn't recognize Jesus straight away. But her eyes were filled with tears, and it was early in the morning when it was still dark. And I am now much more aware of my limitations, and I often don't recognise people until they're very close to me. But more than those explanations, the truth is that we often see what we are expecting to see and miss what is right in front of us. When Jesus called her by name, Mary knew him. Jesus turned to her and said, "Mary." And in that instant, she knows. She knows it is him, the one she seeks, the one she loves, the one who is calling her by name. And Mary replies, Rabboni, teacher, and she reaches out to hold him. But this joyous moment is not just for Mary. She must not hold on to him. Instead, Jesus sends Mary to announce to the disciples that he is alive. And that is not the end of the story for any of us either. We all have our part to play in sharing the gospel and the joy of the resurrection with everyone around us. God bless you with the light and love and new life of Easter. Amen.